everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Regular Josh 1. The Thundercats. I remember when this was a show on Cartoon Network back in 2011. It was a time when Cartoon Network was seemingly getting better shows and almost getting more action shows on that channel. For a while, most of their shows have been purely comedy, kinda like how it is today. This was also a time when they were slowly starting to get rid of the live action shows. Around that time, they had other types of action shows like Young Justice, the Ben 10 series, Generator X, and Symbiotic Titan. Cartoon Network previously aired the 1985 Thundercats series back in 1997 to 2002. They then came out with a new series in 2011, and this series only lasted for one season. Back then, I was confused as to why this show was cancelled. I mean, it seemed to have a good following online and looked like it was doing well on the network. When it was cancelled, everyone was so upset by this. So, why did they cancel the show? Well, that was because it wasn't selling enough toys. Or any toys at all. Toys are a huge market when it comes to cartoons. If it can sell large sums of merchandise, they are bound to keep it afloat. It's all about the money. Now, let's cut to a year later after its last episode and talk about another show that made its way to Cartoon Network and is, to put it lightly, not really well liked. That goes to Teen Titans Go. Now, before that series was fully announced, for a time being, Cartoon Network had a new superheroes block called DC Nation. There, they would air shows based off of the DC comics, give fans DC news, and also air shorts based off of these superheroes. One of these shows was the new Teen Titans. For a lot of us, this was a very exciting thing to see, especially when we had the cast of the original 2003 series coming back to star in these shorts. It was like reliving a bit of our childhoods again. It wasn't a full-blown series, nor was it a continuation of the previous series, but it was still something. For me, I was just excited to see them back on the screen again. Because they were shorts, it did take a more comedic approach and was more lighthearted, but it still had that feel from the previous series. Even watching the shorts now, they're pretty enjoyable. So when they came to announce the new show, Teen Titans Go, I was pretty excited. With how well the shorts were and the fact that we were able to see these characters back on the TV with another series, I was in for a treat. And boy, what a treat that turned out to be. I will admit, when the show first aired, I actually did find myself enjoying it a little bit. I did kind of find it to be a little funny, and I was just happy that the Teen Titans were back on TV. But obviously, as you can see now, that is no longer the case. This show, I cannot stand. And I'm not alone on this. Almost everyone who was a fan of the original series hates this cartoon. Biggest reason? The characters are not likable. They are dumbed down versions of themselves, and for a lot of us, that is just insulting. Gone are the days where they had compelling stories and kick-ass action. Now, fart jokes and toilet humor as far as the eye can see. Now, despite all of this and the constant hate that the show continues to gather, this show is a huge success on Cartoon Network. So much so that it's had a few specials, a couple of crossovers, it's even gotten its own theatrical movie. For a while, it was the most aired show on the network. It was so out of hand that it was almost 90% of the channel's programming week after week. Year after year, we all hoped that the show would come to an end, but there just seems to be no end in sight. You can't deny it, it's a very huge hit with kids. So, let's go back to the Thundercats. In 2018, Cartoon Network announced a new series, Thundercats Roar. And right from the get-go, it was clear that this was going to be a comedy version of the two previous shows. Now, because I never watched any of the shows and never gotten into the Thundercats, this wasn't really a big deal to me. But to everyone else, this was horrible news. This show was met with instant outrage, with everyone calling it the next Teen Titans Go. There was even a petition going on to have the show canceled and never air. That's how much people hated this series. And to be honest, you can't really blame them. Just like Teen Titans Go, this show is seemingly a dumbed down version of its previous cartoons. Even just looking at the animation and the design of the show, this looks nothing like the Thundercats. It just seems like a bizarre move to take something that was so serious and well developed and turn it into something like this. I've seen a couple of clips from the series, and I can see why fans of the franchise do not like this new show. Granted, it's not the worst thing I've seen, and admittedly, the animation isn't that bad, but it certainly isn't my thing. I couldn't see myself enjoying this. Now, due to the fact that I haven't seen a single episode yet, nor do I ever plan to, this clearly is not a review of the show. In fact, I don't even know much about the Thundercats at all to really talk about it, nor even have a full opinion on the full franchise as a whole. So, you might be wondering, why am I making this video? Well, because I wanted to ask this simple question. Why does the Thundercats Roar exist? Why did they think it was a good idea to turn this into this? Well, in my personal opinion, and probably the opinion of a majority of people, to be honest with you, it's because of these 3 words. Teen Titans Go. Because of how big the show is with children, Cartoon Network was probably looking for another show that can bring in the same amount of success. Just like how Nickelodeon keeps looking for cartoons that can bring SpongeBob levels of success. So for them, why not just do the same thing? Take a previous superhero show and turn it into a comedy. Boom! We got ourselves the next big hit. Now, that remains to be seen if this is a hit for Cartoon Network, but it is clear that kids seem to enjoy these kinds of shows. It wouldn't surprise me if they did another. And that's the thing. Even if the show continues to get massive hate on the internet, the executives and creators won't care. For them, if it brings in the bucks, it's good to stay. Like I said before, it's all about the money. Yes, it is spitting in the face of the people who love the originals, but as long as it's able to pull in an audience, they feel like they've done their job. All fans can do at this point is hope that a better show comes along for both Thundercats and Teen Titans. A show that actually gives the fans what they want. Though, admittedly, that's not particularly bad that they want to bring in a new audience. That's what franchises must do in order to stay alive. But it would be better if it was a show that could make everyone happy. I'm sure that will happen sometime in the future, but until then, all we can do is hope. Well, that's it for this video. Tell me what your thoughts are on Thundercats Roar. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell to get notifications on my next video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys all had a good day, and remember, you're hearing it from a regular bunny in a regular world. See you next time.